All right, man. After this season, free agents gonna want to play with the Detroit Lions, join the Detroit Lions this off season. Let's talk about it. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop a video. And it's a good question. A lot of people say don't nobody want to come play in Detroit, but I know one thing: when a lot of guys end up coming to Detroit, they enjoy it. Remember, Isaiah Thomas didn't want to come to Detroit. You know, he tried to, fall in the draft and get to Chicago, his hometown team, but him, John Sally, Rodman, Dumars, they all love the city of Detroit and playing here. And you never hear too many people complain. I mean, Ndamukong Suh still got businesses here. Calvin Johnson still got a business here. Obviously, Jalen Rose and Chris Webber still do business here. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people, still active in the community. A lot of people still come through here, stay here, got real estate, got business here. It's usually the franchise of Detroit that got the real bad reputation. But I think Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes kind of changing that. And I think the number one thing Dan Campbell did was make this a player-friendly league, player-friendly team, where Matt Patricia made it a military-style dictatorship. That's what I kind of really want to point to. More of a dictatorship, more uniform, where number one is just as important as number 99, and that's not how it go in the real world. That worked in New England for Bill Belichick, but that ain't been proven to work without Tom Brady. Right? Without having that dude at the quarterback, if it was before Drew Bledsoe, Matt Castle, Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, Dr. Z, and Bradley Zappi, it hasn't worked yet. But I think, when you got a place like Detroit, you got to separate yourself. And back in the day, the Pistons did that. They was the first team with a charter flights, private jets. You know what I'm saying? They was the first franchise that requested, like Isaiah Thomas said, black media to be in the locker room and represent them. So they broke a lot of barriers, and the ownership has to be leading that. And that's kind of some of the ways that small businesses got to separate themselves from, people going to the major corporations in the real world. That's the difference. That's a major difference. That's a major difference. So, some things that seem small matter. And Calvin Johnson talking about, a couple years, after he retired, he went to go see how the Raiders do things, how the Raiders treated their players and their veteran players and gave them off days, and it was totally different from what he experienced in Detroit. So, and I think Dan Campbell was listening to his players, all player staff. They've been there before, done that before, understand the body, understand when they need to practice, understand when they don't need to practice, understand how to manage players, how to manage veterans, been there, done that. And I think, that's things that you really don't hear in the media that travels in the players' network. Best believe when players getting free agent offers, they network with each other. All of them, all of them got a network, not just a union. They all came out in the draft. They all went to the same school. Some of them in the same fraternity. Some of them in the same network. Some of them been teammates, high school, college. It's a fraternity. So please believe how Dan Campbell is, is floating around there, and how the city of Detroit is. And I never thought the city of Detroit was an issue for players playing here. The fan base is great. The amenities around Detroit is great. The suburbs are some of the best suburbs you can be with. It's a lot of money to be made in the city of Detroit outside of football. I just thought that, some of the things that need to clean up was from an ownership standpoint and from a, front office and a culture standpoint. It seemed like they're starting to clean that up. And I think it began with an ex-player playing, being the head coach, and a lot of ex-players in the NFL on the coaching staff. So I think that's kind of where, it's beginning at. And I think people are going to want to start coming to Detroit. You see Lamar Jackson liking and hearting stuff, and being kind of showing some interest in the city of Detroit. And I think you may not have to be the highest bidder anymore, just for people to consider Detroit. Buffalo, it started to change because they started winning. Josh Allen, kind of was the beginning. Sean McDermott, Stephon Diggs helped turn around, and now, you know, guys like Von Miller, which you thought Von would never want to come to Buffalo, you know, he came to Buffalo. You know, so sometimes all you need is a match to light the fuse, and you know, they fan base is great up there in Buffalo, even though they get a lot of snow, but they building something there. And I don't really think it's no different in Detroit. I think Detroit, we starting to build something. And I think guys who want to play with Dan Campbell, I think Hard Knocks was a great recruiting tool for players that want to come here. And I think now, you know, that started to manifest into wins. You know, now, you know, you start to see him on national television, and all that count. Because when you start to get that national TV love, guess what? Then you start to get that national endorsement, not just local endorsements, but national endorsements. So yeah, I don't think they the cream of the crop. I don't think like it's, you know, oh, I get to go play with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys and get the finest amenities that some of the U.S. has to offer. You know what I'm saying? As far as endorsements, country clubs, you know, all that type of stuff. But I think it's starting to kind of, you know, Detroit is starting to be like that. It's starting, you know, you're not right next to Canada, not far from New York. You know, so, you know, people love it. You got all major sports here. You got casinos here. Got Canada. It used to be a little bit more accessible going to Canada back in the day. So you got a lot of things working here. Prime real estate spot. You know what I'm saying? So I think, yeah, the perception is starting to change. Now, necessarily, do I need to go out there and get big name free agents? I mean, I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think that is a requirement in which they need to go out there and do so. I don't think so. You know, but you know, it could be the difference. It could be a major difference. It could be a major difference. So perception is something, everything. But when you start getting national spotlight, that equal money. Commercials, endorsements, brand deals. So yeah, I mean, that's something to look at. So I kind of think that, you know, people, you know, I think people gonna be looking at Detroit a little bit different. And I do think they're headed in the right direction. $23 million, right around there. Could be some more, a little bit less, with some contracts signed and released. So we'll wait and see. But I do think the perception's starting to change, and they starting to bend that corner. So that's my opinion. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop a video financially. Want to support the channel? Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love, support. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist for more videos like this. Peace.